We're live on Instagram, everyone, and Facebook. Hello, everybody out there. If you're awake and watching, if not, you can see it on the live stream, or I mean, on the Facebook after it's documented and everything. I'd like to welcome some very special guests. We have Alex Gutierrez from many different jobs and whatnot, but mainly with the Tulare, president of the Tulare County or of the Tulare City Democratic Club, and then we have Brett Taylor from Visalia City Council. And we'll do you want Alex? Do you want to give like a little brief introduction, and then we'll get into questions with Brett?
Introduction is about me.
Yeah, just like that. It's something
Oh,
I didn't miss. It's something I missed, and because I know I kind of stumbled on your job title and all that.
oh no, no, it's fine. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I've read about Council Member Brett Taylor and his extensive community service repertoire. So I really just wanted to hear and listen from him. About me, I'm a server bartender. I am active in my community as well, from Chamber of Commerce's, also to political events, political campaigns, and I just really like to be civically engaged and knowledgeable, and I want to take that to every part of our community, no matter what. And I'm really happy you put this together, Justin. I went to your Martin Luther King celebration event. That was very unique, very interesting. It opened up my eyes to various cultures, and that's the beautiful thing about Visalia. It has a lot of that, and I'm again happy to have Brett Taylor here to get to know him a little bit better and see what he's about and who he is and whatnot. Thanks.
Sorry, thank you, Alex. Yeah, thank you for all the information about yourself. That does help me a little bit more, also to understand you and like some other questions to ask you after Brett has to go after like 15 or so minutes. But yeah, Brett, want to give a brief introduction about yourself? I know we talked on the phone, and you have a long list of things. Maybe condense it a little bit because your whole life story is pretty interesting. But we only have 15 or so minutes.
Oh, it's not that interesting. Yeah, I was born and raised in Visalia. Went to school at COS. Then I transferred to Fresno State. We got 4 kids. My wife's from Argentina. She came here to go to college. Felt found me and stayed here. So that's pretty much it. I have been involved in my community for as long as I can remember. My mom kind of taught me to be engaged, to participate, and I was involved in Boy Scouts, and I served back when it was like Sister Ursula's Kitchen. I would serve meals on the weekends, and then served on numerous committees: Planning Commission, North Visalia Advisory Committee, Youth Commissions, just a whole slew of different committees and commissions. And then just recently in December, I was sworn into City Council, so I'm excited, and thank you for having me here, Justin. And Alex, thank you again for having me here too. So
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. I've only been to, or I only watched on Facebook one so far. City council meeting. It was pretty interesting. A lot of interesting things happen. Different opinions and whatnot from people speaking at the public portion, or public open forum part and whatnot. But just jumping right into it. So I know like a lot of people were concerned about like the like some homeless issues and whatnot. Is there any plans do you know of possibly in the future with dealing with any of that kind of stuff?
yeah, absolutely. So we had our strategic work session that we do once a year. We had that last Friday, and that was absolutely one of the biggest issues. Um, you know, I don't think a single city council member doesn't recognize that as probably one of the biggest issues. And so, really what it is we got to find consensus on what's the plan. The reality of it is, building a nice, huge homeless shelter and staffing it is probably outside of our means for our budget for the city. We just don't have that type of extra income. So we're really looking for a good partner, someone who can run it, and then the city is definitely there to help. So um, a lot of ideas have been floated around by city council members, and it's the strategic plan. We kind of all like talked about what our vision was, and I think a lot of us, we want to make sure that what we're doing, that we're doing it correctly. So it sounded like everyone kind of had this similar ideas of let's get a site first, and then allow people to stay there. If it's successful, then we can start, building bathrooms and, an education room with, air conditioning where they can, get training and get help and work with different individuals. And then kind of as the program continues and successful, we continue to invest more money, because the reality of it is, if we were to build a nice, 20,000 square foot facility or 50,000 square foot facility and staff it, it could be millions and millions of dollars that we just don't have. So we actually did speak with some individuals who are looking at starting up an organization. They've already raised quite a bit of money. They raised a couple $100,000, and they're getting all their paperwork ready. And so an organization like that would be a really good, organization to team up with, where they would run it, they would really take care of it, and the city would be there and, maybe help with a building or help with, purchasing land or something like that. But they're ultimately the ones who would run it, because the reality of it is, if you look at the programs that are successful, most of them aren't government run. They're run by the people. The people take pride in what they're doing, and the individuals that are using it, feel more prideful when it's theirs. Not when it's just a government handout. It's really something that they're working towards and something that they're helping to build also. So that's kind of what we're hoping to do. But very fluid at this moment, and hopefully the next few weeks we'll get a better idea of what's going to be happening.
Sweet. Yeah, I've been to, well, I haven't been, but I mean, I've tuned into the a couple of the on Facebook when they do the Zoom of the Tulare County Health and Human Services homeless task force, and it is pretty interesting, and it is good to know that there's people doing a lot of good things out there, from all different types of organizations, and like the Project Room Key and whatnot, getting people that are homeless, like trying to get them into like motels and stuff like that, and everything if they can. But Alex, do you have anything to chime in on this? Because I'm drawing a few blanks right now.
Well, just two things. Thank you. I did hear, Brett, you mentioned that the current Visalia budget puts limitations on the city enacting something on its own. So that brought to my mind the marijuana dispensary question on tax revenue. In relation to other cities in the county, Visalia being the biggest city, still seems to have reservations about it. That's a big surplus money that can be allocated towards projects like homelessness, and not even that, but maybe the budget deficit, if it is one, regarding the economic crisis COVID caused. Can you comment on your stance on that?
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of having marijuana distribution centers in Visalia. I think possibly the council might be supportive of that. Just me personally, I'm not a huge fan of it. I did at the strategic, actually at our city council meeting last Tuesday, I asked the Citizens Advisory Committee, which is doing their annual questionnaire, to put a question in there if the citizens would be willing to do a tax measure to support a low barrier shelter. So that would be my preferable way. But I wouldn't be surprised if in the future we did have medical marijuana, or a legal marijuana dispensary. So it's me personally, not a huge fan of it. It's just something I don't participate in. I do absolutely see the potential in economic revenue, especially via the government and taxes. It's just nothing I'm a fan of.
Anything else, Alex, that you wanted to chime in on before we go to different topics?
Well, there was a second thing regarding the homelessness and your partnership interests with certain entities that you feel are better than government-run ones, I think was your wording. Do you have specific names, and are they secular or are they religious oriented? Because that seems to pop up as a question frequently.
So like yesterday I had some calls with TC Hope. I don't believe they're secular, because their goal is to do a low barrier shelter, and that's what our goal is too. Chief Salazar also said that would
I'm sorry, what does that mean? Low barrier? What does that mean?
A low barrier shelter. Yeah, so just a low barrier shelter is that's what kind of what the government has established as like an acceptable shelter, where it wouldn't put regulations on if people were currently on drugs or drinking, as long as they weren't making an issue. they'd be allowed to bring animals in. They'd be allowed to, to be there with their partner. So it couldn't be a female only or a male only. And that's kind of what a low barrier shelter is. And so that's what we really need to get to. And that's what our chief police is asking for. And I think there is the will from our city council to get a low barrier shelter in Visalia. And our mayor, asked to have one on the north side of town and one on the south side of town. So right now it's just finding the right partner, someone who can really take good care of that project.
And so far, the name you said was Hope, or what was it called?
TC Hope. It's Tulare County Hope.
So it's Tulare County.
I believe the majority of them are retired. Most of them did really well for themselves. They're developers or lawyers or mental health professionals, and basically they're really looking to give back, in their retired portion of their life. And so they've already started working. They teamed up with CSET to be like their nonprofit agency, so that they can start applying for different grants and different things. So that's the type of partner we're looking for, someone who can be really strong, make those connections, and ultimately, run a good program.
Sweet. All right. Well, I'm not sure how much more time you have, but quick, I was gonna ask about, because we have a friend who's involved with some of the signs that were taken down from El Diamante, and trying to get over at COS with the Black Lives Matter movement and all that. Is I don't know, Alex. Remember we were talking about this? I'm not sure how to word it, but like.
Yes. Well, you do know that the Visalia Times Delta put out an article not too long ago that there was a sign ordinance, and I saw in your December 2019 bio article that you were a member or a committee member of the sign ordinance TAC, the Technical Advisory Committee. Wanted to know your thoughts on that. You brought up Chief of Police Salazar earlier too. They were very involved in a lot of the demonstrations last summer, and kind of summarize that with Black Lives Matter, the sign ordinance that you were part of. You can enlighten us a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, so to me, being able to protest peacefully is really what our country is about. So, I look at our community and the other communities here locally in the Valley, Fresno, Tulare, they all had demonstrations without any major issues. And so, I'd love to see that. The specific details of, the signs on the fence at El Diamante, I don't honestly know why they took them down or put them up. I don't know if they have, particular policies that would allow that or not. But the sign ordinance, yeah, we spent about 1.5 years working on that. And it really was just it kind of expanded the opportunities for people to be able to put signage up on their property. And the reality of it is freedom of speech can't be infringed. So, if you have a sign that says Black Lives Matter, or, come to this church, the reality of it is if it's on your private property, you really have a right to do that. And so the city was only, because of the Supreme Court ruling, you're only allowed to really talk about the time, place, and manner of those types of signage, so that if you want to put up a sign, that's fine, as long as the sign's, not, ripped up and falling apart. And really that's the only thing that the city can really take care of is that portion of it. The actual content, what the sign says, you have to be blind to it. And it could be a for sale sign. It could be, come buy shoes at the store sign. It could be any type of freedom of speech sign, and the content doesn't really matter. And so that's really what the sign ordinance did was make sure that we were treating everybody equally, and not giving any preference to any particular industry.
For sure. Well, how much time do you have left, Brett?
Yeah, I got time for a few more questions.
Okay. Any projects that you're gonna be, anything in the works that you're thinking, that you want to kind of let people know about that are maybe happening? I know at that one council meeting, people did have some issues with like the Dutch Brothers thing, but if you want to talk about whatever else, any projects that you have coming up that you're involved in or excited about, you can let people know.
Yeah, so the Dutch Brothers, I think what a lot of people didn't understand, because I actually was on the planning commission at the time that we approved that, is when a developer comes to our community, they don't have to say who the tenant's going to be. just like the unnamed, giant warehouse building that everyone assumes is going to be Amazon, or that some even newspapers have reported, whether it's for, sorry, my phone's kind of blowing up. Let me turn that off. Whether it's for, strategic purposes for the company, sometimes developers just build spec buildings. We don't know who the tenant's going to be, which makes it difficult. So, like in that case, we knew it was going to be a coffee shop. I actually lived in Fresno when I was going to Fresno State, and so I was aware of Dutch Brothers, and I saw that the types of issues that they had with traffic up there. And a matter of fact, they actually had to shut that location down that was closest to our house and move across the street. So it wasn't actually until afterwards that I found out that that location was going to be where a Dutch Brothers was at. So it's kind of unfortunate, and so that actually brought up the question to the staff. We said, hey, how can we do a better job of making sure that we're putting these in good locations? Because obviously, if that would have been an in and out, could you imagine the lines of 100 cars? And so they really talked about that businesses have the right to kind of go where they want as long as it's properly zoned for that. But the businesses also have an obligation to make sure that they're not interfering with the public welfare and safety of our community. So when you have the cars that are backing up on Mooney Boulevard, it's an issue. It's a big issue. I mean, we're glad that Dutch Brothers is successful. We love to see all of our businesses succeed, but at the same time, they need to work on doing a better job of either having someone out there and saying, hey, you guys cannot wait out in the street, or if we just need to tweak it and start working it out the other side. But businesses are not allowed to have customers lined up outside Mooney Boulevard or any street. So right now, we're currently working with the business and trying to figure out a way that'll be more successful, whether it's not allowing cars in on through Mooney Boulevard and down the other street, and again capping it, making sure they're not hanging out in the streets. And also, Visalia, we love our new restaurants. Every time there's a new restaurant, I remember when Wiener Schnitzel came in, that's not too far from my office. There's a huge line. Now you drive by it, and it's just like your typical fast food. So there is another Dutch Brothers that's actively under construction, and Planning Commission just approved another Dutch Brothers on Mooney, I believe Monday night. So I think that's also going to help with it. But yeah, the reality is we had no idea what was going to be there, and if we would, like when the new In and Out that came to Planning Commission about a year ago, that's going to be on North Newman Boulevard. They said it was going to be an In and Out, and so obviously that was a big issue. So I think we had a 20 car backup when we typically only do 10. So we were aware of that, but that's kind of what happened in that location. We wish them well. They're working with the owners of the property to fix a few of the little issues like lighting and sound. They've already kind of tweaked it, and I think the last thing that they're working on is getting a bigger fence built, to protect those neighborhoods in the back. Because I did walk the neighborhood and I met with some of the neighbors, and before the store opened, I could see their complaints, because from the building you could see right into their backyards, into their windows. And so we're working on those things, and I think at the end of the day, it'll be a successful project for everybody.
Sweet. Alex, anything? Or because I was gonna ask you, Brett, like, do you? I know we talked a little bit about this. Like, do you think would you like to see like more people get involved in like running for office and whatnot, and like whatever it is, school board and stuff like that? Like, what's your opinion on that?
Like I said when we chatted on the phone the other day, I've actually helped a lot of people run for different offices. Some of them successful, some of them not. And from all different backgrounds. And so it's been a lot of fun. I've probably worked on 10, 15 campaigns, maybe more, like actively working on it, from knocking on doors to being the treasurer of the campaign to being a campaign manager. So I definitely love it when people are involved. But there's also major issues. I think Justin, you were saying that there's not a lot of really young people that are involved in our community, and it's hard because it takes a lot of time. Last week, besides reading all the material, I was in a meeting on Tuesday night that lasted, I think, till 10:30 or so, and we got there at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then Saturday we had a meeting from 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And so, a lot of young people, including myself, this would have been, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. I'm a younger guy. I got 4 kids that are all under the age of 12. And, I couldn't have taken off that much time from work. And so it's definitely challenging to get younger people involved because you really need to be in a position where you can get the extra time off, or maybe you have enough financially that or you're your own boss that you can kind of do those things. So, but yeah, I love getting involved. I've enjoyed helping a lot of people run for office, and to me, I enjoy it. It's kind of like the ultimate chessboard, where you're trying to figure out what the pieces are, where they're moving, and just getting the word out there. So,
Would you, let's say I ran against you in 4 years, what would you tell me? Like, what's some advice you would tell me?
so I've actually run a lot of education camps. We've done them because I'm the CEO for the Tulare County Association of Realtors, and we've actually brought in some really huge advisors, people who've run huge campaigns, congressional campaigns, governors campaigns, and these are all campaigns that have won. So they're probably some of the best individuals in the country for winning campaigns. And at the end of the day, there's 2 things you have to be able to do. You have to be able to ask for money and ask for a vote, and you have to be able to get out there in front of the people. You have to be willing to knock on doors and to put the work in. If you think someone's gonna get you there, it's not gonna happen. So that's really the key. Get in front of people, get your message out there, and don't be afraid to ask for help, ask for a vote, and ask for money. That's really the key to a campaign. And then working hard. I remember one that been helping. I'm dead serious. That guy wore out a pair of shoes, knocking on all the doors. So that's really the key.
Yeah, I probably won't be running against you because I might be a little scared to to lose. But Alex, do you have anything to chime in before Brett has to go?
Well, I'm glad he brought up the Tulare County Realtors Association that he's a CEO of. Could you enlighten us more about that? I read a little bit up on it, but just the internal structure, what it composes of, and what you all do.
Yeah, absolutely. So in Tulare County, we have about 1,400 realtors. And so basically we do everything on the back end that allow our agents to be successful. We take care of all the technology aspect, so that when you guys, are looking for homes on realtor.com or, Zillow, that's really all feeds from our organization, that our realtors are actively making sure that the content is of high quality, that, everything's, as true and correct as possible. When you're in real estate, because there are 1,400 realtors in Tulare County, one of the big things that we do is we put on a lot of events so that our realtors can get to know each other, because we found out it makes a transaction so much easier. When if Alex, if you and I know each other really well, it makes the transaction so much easier. So we put on a lot of events. We're involved in the community. We've done tons of service projects. Even last year with COVID, when we weren't able to do our typical service projects like a Habitat for Humanity build or different things, we were still dropping off food packets for our police and for our nurses, and doing a bunch of different things. We have a huge YPN committee that gets people involved, that really builds up our younger generation, gets them ready for leadership. But yeah, so that's kind of what we do, and we take care of everything else that our members need, make sure that they're compliant, making sure that they're following the rules. We do a ton of education. I'd say probably half of the work that we do is educating our realtors, because whether it's advertising yourself or just being a better agent, to be able to serve your client better, we're doing all types of education. We have an office in Porterville, and then we have another office in Visalia. We're able to take care of our members. So wherever you're at in Tulare County, we can kind of help out. So that's what we do. Occasionally, we also have to do some of the stuff that's not pleasant, where if a realtor messes up, we have courses of action that's called a code of ethics. So if our agents aren't acting the way that they should, we also have that process. We also do lobbying. We do lobbying on the local, state, and federal level, for protecting home ownership rights, and everything from protecting tenant rights, landlord rights, individual rights, making sure making sure that people's individual rights aren't being broken. I know just recently we worked with the federal government on passing new legislation to get rid of some discriminatory practices. So yeah, we're very involved as an association. We have a great group of people, and they really take a lot of pride in our local real estate community. So
Can you just tell me the board? Is there a board of directors?
yeah, we do. We have 13 members on our board of directors. It's 12 current members, or 12 current board of directors, and then our past president makes up our 13th member.
And how are they? Are they internally selected through application process?
They're elected by their peers, so there's an election process, and they're nominated and then elected by their peers. So
Okay, and then finally, you mentioned the lobbying. Does the Real Estate Association you manage also have a PAC?
we do. Well, yeah, we have a PAC. It's not like a PAC that we run ourselves. It's run by the state association, but the funds that we raise is basically only our funds. So we do have funds that we contribute to good candidates. We also have like an issues PAC. So if there was an issue coming up that we were wanting to fight here locally, we could use those funds also to to fight issues that we thought would be not beneficial to our community. So
Thank you. Very interesting. Thanks.
absolutely. Thank you guys. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Alex, for having me on. I appreciate being able to come.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us, and I'll probably hit you up very soon about some other questions. Sorry, I'm a little kind of sleepy headed right now, and I'm like blanking on a lot of questions. But yeah, your time is really appreciated, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Drive safe. Lots of rain.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm hoping to be able to get back down through the grapevine. If not, I might have to come up through the coast or through Tehachapi. So I appreciate that, guys.
Yeah, get home safe.
All right, Brett.
All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alex, for helping me out with those questions. I'm half asleep right now, and
I was actually kind of nice to him because there were some other questions I wanted to ask him too.
yeah, no,
We did good.
I mean, we could another time. We could
Because he didn't answer the question about Chief Salazar regarding BLM. He kind of diverted more towards the sign, which is fine.
Yeah, I mean, oh well. Yeah, we're still live, so let's
He's a nice, smart dude, though. He really does. But gotta also.
He's very interesting. All right, we're live still, so let's go into more your yeah. Let's go into your portion of the thing. So yeah, you gave some background for those that were here earlier, but we still got a couple people watching on Facebook right now. Do you want to go into some of your projects a little bit, and then briefly tell a little bit about your club and when they meet and all that?
Yes, thank you. I'm really excited to talk about the Tulare Democratic Club. We are going to have Phil Arbayo, who announced yesterday he's running for Congress again against Devin Nunes, who's the incumbent and from Tulare himself. We had last month the mayor of Tulare, Dennis Medeiros. He spoke a lot about projects that are going on in the city of Tulare, a lot about COVID, which is a pretty hot topic at the beginning of the year. It still is, obviously, but more so then. We are doing membership drives. We want to get the city organized, specifically, obviously, with Democrats, and making sure that they participate at a grassroots civic level and getting them to engage their school boards, their hospital boards, their city council seats, at least at a minimum to get themselves updated and aware of all the happenings around them. In my experience, a lot of people, because they're busy with work and family, totally understandable, but they don't have that pulse on the community, and it's important to do so. We heard Brett talk about volunteer for your community in various ways. You can help the homeless, you can help with animal shelters. There's a lot you can do with people who are struggling economically. And then there's chambers of commerces if you want to support your local businesses. And a lot of that starts first with organizing. And that's pretty much the basis of the Tulare Democratic Club right now is we're just going to organize. And happy to have Phil Arbayo on
When is that?
Friday.
Wait, when's Phil coming?
It's going to be February 5th. It's a Friday, 7 o'clock. Same method like we have right now. It's Zoom. And yeah, we're going to have a pretty good time discussing.
What's he gonna say? Like, what is he gonna do? How long? How many minutes? Does
We
he
have to
take?
tune in.
All right, but
Yeah,
like,
but
it's
I'm
like
sure he's
a
going to talk about what he learned from the last campaign. Again, Brett talked about him bringing all these big advisors from successful campaigns, and that's really what it's about. You you get people who have won campaigns, you get people who have been through losing campaigns, and you um, go through the pros and cons, what worked, what didn't work. I'm sure he'll touch on that. He'll touch on the latest happenings in Washington. Um, he'll talk about the lack of local support from the federal government. In fact, Devin Nunes has been there for 20 years, give or take, and this area needs a change in a spokesperson. And Phil Arbailo will do his best to articulate that. It's him jumping into an election that will help stave off any primary opponents, because last two cycles there's been like 3 or 4 candidates for the Democratic sides
yeah.
trying to take on Nunes.
So I'm definitely gonna try to tune into that, and well, I'm planning on it. I probably, yeah, I definitely intend to be there, because I'm very curious about everything, and I never really heard him like speak before, besides just on TV and stuff, like the commercials and all that. So that was pretty cool. But yeah. So I don't know. Did you want to? I don't know. Did you want to touch a little bit about the sign issue, and your thoughts, and like and how you demonstrated in like over the summer, and what you think
Yeah, and that's why I was talking about the chief of police of Visalia, because we did demonstrate on Mooney, and we did demonstrate at El Diamante, and it was obviously in reaction to everything going on around the country. Ours was more localized with the student one at El Diamante regarding tensions within the school district there, but there does need to be an effort made on behalf of leaders, political leaders especially, who run police departments and the teachers within their school administrations, that there does need to be some level of racial education or racial tolerance or acknowledgement, and conversations that are uncomfortable need to be had, because it saves people's lives, not just directly from physical harm, but also inflicted onto themselves personally. If suicide is high, a lot of pressure from peers, it's never a good thing. Bullying is never a good thing. I'm sure some of that's being done, but I think optics is everything. So they need to put it out there. They need to talk about it. They need to say that we are doing it. I read a lot about articles that show other police entities doing a lot of community-based patrolling. Just paraphrasing it because I can't recall the exact term. And what that means is that the cops, the police officers, or sheriffs, or whoever, actually go out to the communities and do neighborhood patrol, neighborhood watches, neighborhood get-togethers, and they get to familiarize themselves with their police officer, because it rings very true. You can't necessarily hurt people or them hurt you if they know you, and a lot of that disconnect was brought up to the forefront this last summer, and we witnessed it in regards to people not being trustworthy, a lot of rhetoric from the elections, a lot of events happening around the country. So that was my issue with the signs with the school. I just don't understand when people finally say enough, there's forces out there still who try to use ordinances or such, or internal measures to stifle that, or if they didn't mean to, it came off that way for sure. And we need to talk about it, and we need to get that addressed to prevent future generations to have to go through that.
Yeah, I totally feel you on that. Real quick in the comments on the Facebook, we have Dr. Lucia Vasquez saying Visalia Democratic Club meeting tonight at 6 p.m. So everyone that's interested, check out the meeting at 6 p.m. tonight. I don't remember how that. I think it's going to be. You have to contact the president, which is Dr. Lucia Vasquez, and then I think you can get the Zoom link I can't remember if I even have the Zoom link. I think I do.
An email went out this morning.
Okay.
I can forward it to you, but
All right. Oh, I think I'll check that.
you can just copy and paste it into your. I don't know if this loads up onto online, but you can just always put it into the comment section or whatnot.
Yeah, I don't know who the speakers, if there's any speakers or whatnot, but yeah, I'm stoked. Like, so on your club meeting in Tulare, which is, you said, the first Fridays of every month.
Yeah, 7 o'clock so far. We may change that. It worked right now because everything's shut down. It's COVID time, you know.
Yeah.
But Friday nights tend to, pre-COVID, not be a good time to have meetings. Most people do events. Most people
Yeah.
have weekend plans. But we're gonna have that discussion. But for right now, yes, we are gonna meet next Friday, February 5th, 7 o'clock. We're gonna have congressional candidate Phil Arpaio on.
How did
Um,
how did you get, like, did he contact you? Did you reach out to him?
Oh, I reached out to him for sure. Um, you know, being part of the Democratic Party locally, you familiarize yourselves. And again, I go back to Brett because he did a really good explanation on it. Once you familiarize yourself with each other, it makes the conversations easier, the outreach easier. It makes everything go smoother. Um, you know, he ran last cycle for 2 years, so we did help him put out signs. We did help him campaign. I reached out to him to answer your question, and because I did
So
see on Twitter he announced yesterday that he was running, so I jumped on it.
nice. So did you, for last time when he was running against Devin Nunes, like, and there was others, like, did you, like, have to pick, like, somebody to put signs out for, or did you put signs out for a couple different candidates, or how did that work?
You mean during the primary?
Yeah.
Well, during the primary, the way the party structure works is candidates of the same party advocate for the delegates to support them at conventions, and they call that endorsements. So there's all this mathematical thresholds that you have to make of delegates and whatnot. So there was a pre-endorsement conference. Nobody secured the votes necessary for that. So then it went to convention, and Bobby Bliatu won the endorsement of the Democratic delegates and then of the whole state party, which resulted in all the Democratic apparatus supporting Bobby Bliatu. But Phil Arpaio, he had the support of Andrew Jans, who had ran the cycle before that in 2018. And, you know, his entire campaign apparatus supported Phil Arpaio with money, with people, with contacts. And Phil won the primary when it came, because California has a open primary. It's the top two winners make it to the finals, to the Super Bowl, which is the general election. And sometimes even two Republicans can go into that. We saw that in 2014 with the state assembly race. You had two Republicans there, and but for Congress, Phil Arpaio made top two, so he made it to the. And then after that, it was just all about Phil Arpaio, making sure people knew who he was and how to turn in their ballots. It's a lot of work for an area like ours, which everything is spaced out, and you have to time everything because you have 30 minutes to get from here to like Dinuba, from Dinuba to Porterville. You have to do a lot of logistical planning. You need a lot of bodies, and it's not something that's not doable. It's just something, like I mentioned, requires a lot of organizing, and that's what Lucia is going to be doing with the Visalia Democratic Club tonight. Encourage everybody to go. It's the first meeting of the year. That's what we're doing in Tulare. That's what a lot of clubs are doing, and that's kind of how the primary process works when you have contenders of the same party running for something.
That makes sense. Yeah, like I remember, we were kind of having a discussion, on the phone the other day, that, like, I think it is important for people to get more involved and get either register, vote, but even think about getting involved themselves in running. And so, like, whether that's locally, state, federal, doesn't matter. I feel like people should think about it. And I know they're kind of busy, but it's not, you were telling me it's not that difficult to do, and whatnot. But, like, as far as, like, winning, And like, do you think, like running against Devin Nunes, or doing something like running like a state assembly or state senator? What's like for someone, that's wanting to get involved, or should they, maybe start out, local, like just school board or city council?
You can do it all. There's no real formula or guideline or step by step to do any of this really. Like Trump showed, and I use him as an example because he had no political background other than being a donor, and he managed to win a national political party convention because of his name recognition amongst their voter base. And then you have Andrew Jans. He ran. He was a district attorney in Fresno County, and he raised millions of dollars and almost unseated Devin Nunes in 2018. And he had no school board seats, stuff like that. But then you have a lot of people who do that, and Devin Nunes is one of them. Before he became a congressman, Devin Nunes was on the COS board of trustees. Before that, he was involved in a lot of local farmer groups and business groups throughout the county. And that's, I like that way better because you get familiarized with the grassroots based on the ground communities, and then you kind of move up and stuff. But you don't necessarily have to do that either. You don't have to. You can just put your name out there and run, and keep putting your name out there and run. And some people win, some people
Yeah.
lose, and that again, when you put your effort into it, you have to ask for money. You have to be able to know who to call to do certain things. There's a lot of political money rules, a lot of law that you have to follow. Always scares a lot of people, but again, it's like black and white. It's very understandable information. It's not rocket science, but it is tedious.
Yeah.
And you do need a team. You do need at least 3 or 4 people on your team to make it. Teamwork makes the dream work, and it's very true in politics. You have to have a group of support.
Sweet. So,
But anybody can do it.
yeah.
That's very true. Anyone can do it. You only need to win. You only need the
But-
votes.
But like, so let's say someone was wanting to run for Congress or something here, but like you said, like someone like Philip Barrow has already come out as running. Is it like, should it like deter them from getting in the race? Like, should they say, oh well, he's running, I don't want to try to
Well, naturally that happens. People, that's what it does. It deters people, but no, you don't have to do that either. I mean, he can have his stance on things. You can have a more different stance, and you want to take that argument to the voters, especially Democratic voters, and try to win their support or delegate support or whatnot. But yeah, for federal office, you file with the FEC, Federal Elections Commission. For more local offices, usually it's with the Secretary of State, FPPC, or your local county registrar of voter, or your city clerk. And all you do is pull papers. You put your info, you submit it, and you get this paperwork done. Paperwork can take about a week, and then you're set. Just make sure you get all the paperwork out, and you're like, okay, I gotta do this, this, and this, and then you push it out there.
Yeah.
But it's not. Again, it always sounds more overwhelming than it really is because a lot of people do it. So it's not hard. You just need to do it, and that's the hard part, is having people motivated and willing.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. So, as far as your club, like any big projects that you're hoping to accomplish this year?
Well, like I said, organize a lot of membership drives, a lot of discussions are going to be had just with internal club structure, but also eventually reach a certain point of membership. And with membership comes brains. With brains come ideas and resources, and then executing those ideas and plans to help the democratically endorsed candidates and helping them succeed in any way possible by bringing out the vote in a local level. You have to look at it like whatever structure you can imagine, but there's the city, so you divide the city into neighborhoods. You have all these neighborhoods working together. It makes the job easier. If you have 50 people in town, you divide the town into 50 places and you only turn out the vote for who supports your candidate. You have an effective structure. It just requires organization.
So how did you're like really passionate about all this, and I'm just been curious, like, what's your background? Like, what got you into it? Like, what got you motivated and whatnot? Because for me, it's different things. Like I was in college pretty motivated with politics, but then to know about like things that were important. But then after that, like I kind of that passion kind of dwindled, just trying to figure out what am I gonna do with my life, like get a job or something. And then after like the whole Trump situation, and then like the whatever people storming the Capitol and all that started getting me a little bit more motivated to get involved and probably run for office and stuff like that. But like where did it come from you? Was it like the day you were born? Like you knew you were gonna be passionate about this, or what happened?
No, I always say that it was when I was 10 years old. No, what was I 10? No, I was 11 when 9/11 happened. It was 9/11. I was 11 years old. At that time, I just wanted to be a lawyer. It seemed like a good thing. And then when 9/11 happened, I realized that government had a lot of power because it shut down airports. It, started a war. Bombs fell, and then it raised a lot of questions about being raised in America. Being born here and raised here. You're taught about American exceptionalism. So when you see your country wounded that way, it kind of blows your mind. Like, wait, we're not invincible. And then it begs the question, well, why do people hate us? And then that opened my eyes to, well, there's all these political groups and there's all these reasons people can have to explain the world. And it was just so fascinating. And then it led me to cultures around the world. I'm like, oh, there's just not the American culture. There's like India and Middle East and Africa. And so that led me to history. So to boil it down to a point, it probably would have been 9/11 when I was 11 years old. And what made me, what had me become a Democrat was a combination of Bush lying to get the United States into a war, which I thought was the most important thing I've ever witnessed as a kid, that somebody would lie us into a war frivolously like that. And then secondly, I was so politically active. I was part of Teens on Board and part of the migrant program at my high school. And I went to Washington, D.C., where I got to meet our Congressman Devin Nunes. And he was the ultimate disappointment because I went there optimistic with this migrant program. Nancy Pelosi had just become speaker. He had lost his big old office, I guess. He was in a bad mood. And he saw all these migrant kids, and he was just so rude to all of us. And he was even more insulting when he told us that he would not support a pathway to citizenship. And I asked him, why wouldn't you support a pathway to citizenship and punish these people, but you won't punish the business owners who are hiring them? And he said, no, I won't do that. And I'm like, well, you're a piece of work. And at that moment, I was like so repulsed by what the Republican Party was standing for at the time. And I'm glad I registered Democrat as soon as, because I was like 15 or 16 when I met him. When I soon as turned 18, I registered Democrat, never regretted it because the Republican Party just got worse and worse. And now you see it has become. It's unrecognizable, really. And it's up to their party members to do their stuff, but I'm not focused on that because I'm focused on getting people politically active in what I think has been the party that's not perfect at all, but has been the party that has at least been the most mature in governance.
So wait, you're originally from Tulare?
Yeah, well, born in Los Angeles, but my first memories are in Bixley, in Tulare County.
Pixley?
Yeah, Bixley, Tipton.
Nice.
And then first second half of first grade, my parents moved to the city of Tulare. So 5 or 6 years old, you know when you have your first memory? First memory, I always remember being on a farm in Bixley around chickens and fields. And then when I was like 6, we moved to the city, which was just Tulare, but it was a city compared to where we were. And I went to city schools since then and lived in the neighborhood. And
Nice.
yeah, I was raised here for sure. I don't remember LA at all, but I was born in LA.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I like how the Valley is centrally located to the Bay Area, L.A., so that like people if they wanted to go to like concerts and whatnot, or get some get a little experience of going to big like museums and whatnot. But yeah, that kind of brings to my point. My little. I'm not gonna take too much more of your time, but and I kind of ranted in an email to you last night because I just couldn't get off of my mind. I feel like we are in the valley lacking in arts and whatnot, but there are people trying. Like Dr. Lucia Vasquez has an seen and unseen Plectica series in with collaborating with COS and a few others that talks about Chicana art, then and now, queer perspective. It's an event happening January 28th. 7 p.m. to 8:30, and she's also working on a mobile mural project, reimagining justice. And the people were submitting artwork to go up on a mural, and then she has a lot of different things like spoken word workshops on January 30th, 4 p.m. So like there's people trying to make a difference in the community using the arts, but don't you feel like we are lacking compared to the Bay and LA, like, and it's unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate, and I liked your email last night. I'm glad it's there for us to refer to it because there's a lot of good ideas in there. And yeah, it does lack. When you go to the Bay in LA, everybody is very aware of all the different cultures around them. They pronounce, even I sometimes mess up pronouncing things, but they pronounce things correctly. And it's an educational level. It's a lot of variations as to why that is, but it doesn't mean we can't have our own here locally. Investments in the arts and music, poems and expressions of many different ways, because there's many different ways to do it. A lot of cultures do it differently, and I liked your email, and I'm all for it. And
How
I
do we
think,
change? How do we turn this into the mini Bay or the mini LA? I know it's not an overnight thing, but like, do we bring in like some great poets and artists and have more concerts or something, or like I know it's like difficult during these times right now.
yeah.
In the
Well, I
future,
would imagine in my head, just right now, off the top of my head, like have like a traveling art show from city to city, maybe in a bus and or two buses, and they go from like Dinuba down to Visalia, Visalia to, you have this calendar, and then you do that quarterly or something, whatever makes sense. And then after a year or two, it becomes common, and then people like it grows, you get investors. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do it. That seems like the nicest way because we are so spread out. It's really hard for people with um, not enough resources to participate. And then that shouldn't not be a reason why they shouldn't, because it's very enriching and you get to meet different people. And when you get to meet different people, you tend to not hate them as much because of, ignorance that sometimes we all have that we just don't know. And it's very beautiful. And I think it's a good idea. And I totally support it.
yeah. I mean, another thing that came to mind really quick is like I don't know. I think like using the arts to educate and get people registered and voting and stuff. Because I remember like I just saw like even like a little brief commercial or something about it, but it was like Jimmy Carter or something like had like this band like the Allman Brothers, and like they would do like campaign rallies, and like a lot of people were interested in the music, but then they were like also saying, oh, okay, this band is kind of endorsing like this candidate, and it's like using arts to kind of educate in a way, or just get people on board and like, oh, okay, like yeah, I guess arts are fun, and it's fun to have like a good time, and music and whatnot, and dance, and and you know, life, it could just be carefree and whatnot. And but then there's also this other part of life, which is, you know, the serious part. And like you told me like yesterday, like people aren't voting, but like a lot of these people in charge that they're not, that are, you know, now running stuff, like they're pretty much making decisions that affect people's lives that aren't voting. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like if we, you know, we could bring in like some bigger name artists and stuff, but in combination with like endorsing candidates sort of thing, or just an educational kind of event where, because I mean, yeah, we could bring in artists just to have, you know, play your songs and whatnot, and then we all say yay. But like, um, I think just bringing like the politics or activism with the arts and try to wake people up a little bit would be a good idea. I know we could probably start small and, you know, do some stuff with local artists, but I do feel like, I remember like, I don't know, hearing something about the Stockton mayor. He, you know, he brought in like a rapper like Common or something, and then so like people were like, oh wow, this is like serious. Like, you know, there's like a real big name coming to like Stockton, and you know, he's endorsing this candidate, and so it's like, oh wow, this is like a serious thing happening. So something like that, like, and, you know, would be pretty cool. But you know, that does take funds, and I don't know like how to pay for stuff like that. I don't know if like the clubs or like the committees or stuff, or like try to get like, you know, how that all works. But
Well, when it comes to political, you have to file everything, you have to publicize everything. I mean, again, it goes back to, it's not hard if as long as you pre-plan it. Um, I agree that you have a big introduction of artists and actors and different things coming into the political field because it's just so flagrantly in our face. You know, you had Lady Gaga, Jennifer Lopez at the inauguration. You had even football people coming out and supporting Black Lives Matter, from basketball teams to, um, you know, different groups. We're related to sports, but then there's also a backlash to them, you know, telling them they should stick to their their job and do their job. But it's like, what? Everyone has the right to be politically expressive. But those people command huge audiences. And similarly, though, there's another side to the coin. There's famous people who support the other side, and they can also use those talents to project their ideas of what things should be, which obviously disagree with. But you know, it just it's a matter of getting back to the roots of how music unites, and music does unite for beautiful things, but also like to at least encourage people at a neutral level to vote your mind, your heart, your opinion, your ideas, your future, your kids', because that's currently the methodology we have. And until that changes, that's what you have to funnel people into. And yeah, it's just a matter of getting out there, and artists help do that. You know, they do. They help bring out people who are apathetic, but you have to make sure you like you said, you can pay for it, and it you want to promote, and you know, you're
yeah,
successful at it.
you don't want to you pay somebody, but it's like endorse this person, and then like, but still no one votes. That would be kind of a waste of money and stuff like that.
Exactly. You need to make sure it's at least organized. Is the point. Everything goes back. If they can do it for stadiums, we can do it too. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think community, though, like like we were talking about, connecting the community together and using the community resources. You know, not always, you don't have to rely on bringing people from the outside and whatnot. Like we could, but like I think, yeah, like you were saying before, like if we just get like a network of you know, like-minded people that are, you know, wanting to make some differences and agreeing on some stuff, like how do we do it, and you know, like helping get people registered, you know, supporting each other and whatever it is, like their protests or you know, marches. And I think that's all great and whatnot. But I think brainstorming, like together, yeah, like, you know, we were trying to plan on bringing some people together and doing some things, just to like see where it goes and builds and like build at a, you know, like grassroots level. I think that's important because, yeah, I think it comes down to like educating people on like why they should do something like vote and register and whatnot, and then, you know, then bringing people together, like in the community, to realize that we're all in this together, in a sense. So I think, I like where you're coming from, and I definitely want to support you, and like come to your meetings, and like hopefully work with you in the future on some projects. It is, it's a big task, what you're doing, and I definitely, I'm stoked that you're like passionate about it, and it gets me more motivated. There's a lot of issues, the environmental issues, the equality issues, I'm glad that you
Yeah, pesticides, economic, brain drain. I mean, we're full of them, which is, in a way, if you look at it positively, if we fix them, it's only going to look more positive. We're only going to get better. But yeah, and a lot of it won't change until people speak out and get active and you know um, make it happen. And I'm glad you're passionate for it. And I'll definitely do my part here and wherever I'm at to help you and others be successful.
Sorry, looks like we got a comment. Dr. Lucia Vasquez, I have a work event at 10, but great job. I think you should consider having some of the people who spoke at the VUSD last night. Check out
Oh
the
yeah, they had
comment.
public comments last night at the Visalia Unified School District that are pretty interesting. You should, I think they're saved, so you can look them up and listen to the people and maybe reach out to them.
How do I get to that video or whatever?
Well, I imagine you go to the Visalia Unified School District website, and then you click under boards and commissions tabs, and then I'm sure it's probably similar to the Tulare County Board of Supervisors meetings where they have them uploaded. If it's not visual, then it's at least sound where you can listen to it. That's one way. Some people, I think, posted it on their Facebook. I saw someone share the agenda as a picture, but I would have to.
So do they have it on,
We would have to
on
look.
Facebook? Do you think they have it on their Facebook? Or?
That's another thing. I think all public entities should be as accessible as possible, but I think not. But you could try. I haven't tried. I would just go straight to their official website because it's an official meeting, so it should be officially there.
Lucia D. Vasquez says, "Lol, you make it sound so easy." I'm not sure what she was referring to, but I'm guessing that
Probably the event planning and like the art.
all the.
I mean,
I mean, yeah, connecting people. It's easier said than done, but I feel like we are onto something, and I think we should capitalize on the opportunity that we have. With everyone being kind of like in agreement. Like, yeah, there's some things that need to change. With all the protests that happened over the summer, and then all the things locally with the signs, the Black Lives Matter signs, and the fact that you were out there marching, and then you saw people like get like like almost ran over pretty much. They got hit by cars, but then there was no repercussions from it, and so stuff like that. It's like it's motivating for people to say, yeah, there's some issues that need to be solved, and we can do what we can. We should get together and figure out like how to like chip away at these issues. So I think we're at a good time to to be brainstorming these things, and we should whatever it means is just go from here and try our best to make some kind of difference. But yeah, like I think it's like there's like no better time than now to kind of start reaching out to people, and because I mean I like I was I was a little bit informed on like who to vote for and stuff, like, but like on some of like I am kind of I was like a lot kind of clueless like on props and stuff like that, and then like remember you even asked me like, so who'd you vote for like locally, and I was just like, I don't have a clue actually, because like my main thing was just vote against Trump and all that, and so like and then like so like a lot of people are probably the same way, like they know who they're gonna vote for president, but like really they need to know everything locally and who to vote for.
Yeah, and a lot of that takes time. It just takes time because there's just so many people sometimes, and then making sure it's not overwhelming for people. Because think about it, like some people who are, it's like me with sports. You can talk to me about like quarterbacks and all these people, and like after a certain amount of information, I check out. You know, I'm like lost at the whole thing, and so they have to keep it simple, and then just remind them to vote. You know, like it's not hard, and you don't know who's on the ballot. It just takes a little bit of effort. You can find out who they are and kind of get a good idea, but um, everything with time. It's just a matter of starting it, and I think we have that idea now because of what happened January 6th, and the fact that that kind of mindset and that kind of violence didn't just go away by a snap of a finger. It's still out there among us, strong, and if they are organized like that, there needs to be an organization to rebuke that. And it's not about picking one side or the other all the time, but sometimes there is moments that arise like that, and we need to make sure we show our unity because that will discourage those people from acting again, but also from um, continuing educating their youth. You know, if we're successful, then we'll change that by art, by music, by education, by tolerance, and it's more of a 10, 20, 30-year plan. But for right now, we need to get through the next 2 to 4 years because it's going to be very tumultuous with these type of people perpetrating lies the way they are, so shamelessly, really, just shameless.
Yeah. Well, I'm all on board. I'm down to be a part of your team, and we should definitely sit down, or Zoom down or whatever they call it, and um,
Yeah, call me, text me. I'll see you tonight at Lucia's.
that's true. It's so early. I'm just like, what do I have to do today? It's like, yeah, there's so much.
6 o'clock.
I'm like so like in this world of like this now. Like no, I want to sit. Yeah, 6 o'clock. Everyone, for that's interested, the Democratic Club.
Oh,
Meeting.
Visalia.
Visalia. Alex, you're an amazing person. I think you should run. I know you said you're not interested, but I think you should run for something. But we need you to inform us. So like keep doing what you're doing. And I'm glad that you're president of the Tulare Club, Democratic Club, and I want to help you guys out as much as possible. Let's like map out some things. I'll be more like I'll be all ears and less talk, and so like I'll just try to figure out where I can help the best and fit in, and because I do want to like
Well, you have the music and you have the talents and you have a network, and so do other people. And once you connect those people with different networks, then you have the potential to reach high levels of the local population. And from then on, you just keep doing it. I can't think of the quote, but there's someone who said a quote that once you figure out how to do good, but you have to do good all the time. You just keep having to do it. And I'm paraphrasing it too, but it's something like that. What it means is basically just that don't ever stop. You have to just continuously keep doing it because then it becomes second nature. And the more people you have, the less work it's going to be on the few because it needs to last a while. It needs to last, like I said, 10, 20, 30 years because it's generational change. It's not momentary. It's not with the moment. It needs to be generational for sure.
Definitely. All right. Well, let's. I'm definitely. I need to. In another time, maybe have you on, but I want to get more into the mind of Alex Gutierrez because I want to know what you're reading, and I want to read everything you're reading. I want to know everything you're eating. I want to know everything that you're doing, your workout routine and stuff like that. Because I want to be you.
There you go. You follow me because you like know what I'm doing. I'm just kidding. No, I'm down. Let's meet up for lunch or something. We'll figure it out.
All right, man. You have a good rest of your day. Let's stay in touch. Peace. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Laters, everybody. Shout out to Dr. Lucia Vasquez event Thursday the 28th, 7 p.m. Please go see the Seen and Unseen Ricardo Favela expressions of Chicano and Chicana art. It's gonna be really cool. It's you can see it on the COS website. Facebook website and all that, and it's going to be awesome. And there's a lot more projects, the mural project that she's working on, and also the spoken word project. January 30th. Anyone that wants to get more into spoken word, can go watch. Not can go watch, but yeah, go on Zoom to learn how to get better at being a spoken word poet or to write poetry or whatever, and that's at 4 p.m. on the 30th. But yeah, mainly come the 28th, 7 p.m. on Zoom. You can see it on the Seen and Unseen uh, Facebook or my Facebook or Dr. Lucia's Facebook or a lot of other Facebooks, COS. But should be cool. We've got a lot of cool things happening in the future with dealing with art and activism and politics and trying to, like Alex was saying, get everyone connected. So let's all try to figure out how to get connected and keep each other informed. I got a lot of ideas, like trying to make a more of a blog website thing that people can go to and stay up to date on things in the community. And if anyone's interested in coming on to the podcast, feel free, because I don't know who to have on next, and I don't know who could top that. Dr. Lucia said have someone from Visalia Unified School District Board or something, but that'd be cool. But I don't know if we could top this one. This was Brett Taylor of Visalia City Council. Thank you for coming on. Special guest Alex Gutierrez. It was great to have you. And I don't know if I should shave or not, because I feel like I'm getting kind of grizzly, and maybe I should cut my hair, especially if I'm going to run for office. But I don't know what office to run for now that Phil Bios, saying that he's going to be running against Devin Nunes, and so there goes my chances probably. I thought he was going to give up, but I guess he's going to. I thought Phil was going to give up and maybe just let Jans kind of try it again, but I don't know. Maybe I'll run, but at the same time, I think state assembly might be kind of better, just to be a little bit more local. I don't think I'll run for whatever. What do you call it? County Board of Supervisors. I'm District 1 or 3. I can't remember. Either one, I probably wouldn't win, because they're doing a good job, I think, in District 1 and 3. I don't even know where I live, but in City Council, I don't know if there's any. There might be somebody. I might be able to run for City Council in 2022, but the issue with that is then I don't know. I don't know if there is an issue with that, but I don't know. Again, I don't think I'd win any of them, because no one knows me, and I don't really do anything. I just talk, and I have other people talk about good stuff. If I was one of these other people, if my name was Alex Gutierrez, I think I would win something, because they know that I've been involved, like he is, and I just haven't done anything besides play music, and people may know that, but I'm not even that great at music. Like if I was some kind of virtuoso or something like that, but I just make random songs and people don't even really listen to them. I got a few Spotify listens and SoundCloud. I guess I'm blowing up on SoundCloud, but hey, it's nothing that special. Millions of people blow up on SoundCloud, but I haven't really written anything, because I've been doing this kind of stuff, just interviewing people, just half asleep, leaning against where I sleep. I'm still in bed right now interviewing these people, and it's probably pretty obvious, because there's a pillow behind me, but we probably should get it's 9 a. It was 9 a.m. and Brett wanted to have an interview, and I'm not used to that, so I had to interview him in bed. It's kind of a lazy thing. It just shows why maybe I shouldn't run, because I'm so lazy. I don't even get out of bed to interview people. But thank you everyone that watched this, and whatnot, and liked the video and whatever. Come on the podcast. You don't have to be a city council member or president of the Democratic Club or something. You can be just a random person like me that just likes to talk or something, or I don't really even like to talk. I just do this because I'm bored probably, and I just want to get the things that people are doing out there, and we bring awareness to issues and whatnot. And I don't know, I'm just trying to learn from them so I can plan my life on how to get involved best. I don't really know what to do. I guess I'll run for office, but I don't really know what office to run for in 2022. I mean, I would keep saying I'm going to run for Congress, but I don't know. It's like I'm gonna flip a coin. Maybe I'll flip a coin right now. I don't even. I have coins just laying around. I think I had a dream about coins. Something weird. I can't remember. I had a lot of weird dreams. I've been dreaming a lot of weird dreams, but I was documenting them. Alex is saying, he just texted me. I forgot I was live when I was talking candidly. It's all good. Oh shoot. Lol. Oh, it's all good. Lol. No, he never. He didn't slip and say anything like too bad or bad at all actually. But he was he forgot we were live. I always forget we're live sometimes. Like yesterday, I was at the Ivanhoe Community Committee, which had Eddie Valero, which is awesome board of supervisor. He was speaking, and some other cool people were there too. And I decided to speak to just shamelessly promote myself in this podcast. Well, I was asking people to come on and talk about the projects, but I forgot we were live, and then like I was just like wasn't really. It's like you always. I don't know. I feel like whenever I'm live, I do act differently. Like I was like I was like trying to read notes from my phone, and I was just like blah 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 blabbing on, and like with mumbling kind of stuff like I am now. Need to get a drink of water or something. But yeah, I wish I spoke a little more clearly and concisely at that committee meeting, but I was at least more prepared to know what I was going to say. But that was cool that they let me speak. That's my first kind of city council kind of type of meeting and whatnot. Because I was with Ivanhoe last night that I spoke. I've never spoke to a board or like to like representatives at a meeting, and it's pretty interesting. And there's a lot of cool things happening over in Ivanhoe. They're going to do a mural project on the library in Ivanhoe, which I definitely I give I think that would be a great idea, and would like to help out however I can to promote that and stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna stop talking now. I don't know what I got to do today. I know there's some other meetings or something probably that I have to go to and help out with, but I don't know for sure. I'm pretty unorganized, and that's probably another reason for a lot of my flaws. Or me being organized is a flaw that probably prevents me from getting more things accomplished. So I got to figure out how to get more organized. Sorry, I'm looking at what I got to do today. Brett Taylor. Okay, they accomplished that. We had the interview with Brett Taylor, but I was in bed, so that was kind of lazy of me. There's the Democratic Club at 6. There's the rehearsal for the Seen and Unseen event on the 28th at 7 p.m. The Ricardo Favela expressions of Chicano art. There's a rehearsal at 7:30. I don't know if that's going to conflict with the Democratic Club. And then tomorrow I got a lot of meetings. But yeah, if anyone wants to come on the podcast anytime, let me know. I'm going to sign off now after rambling and mumbling. I'll check out the VOSD board people and see if anyone wants to come. Yeah. Everyone have a great day. It's 10:20 a.m. Peace. Adios. Laters. My stomach's growling. And I'm very thirsty. So I'm going to go take care of that. End meeting for all. Okay. Later. My voice just cracked. Later. Very scratchy voice for some reason, actually. Probably noticed I haven't even taken a sip of water, I don't think, this morning. Alright. Peace and love to all.